A journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step, Lao Tzu. My friends, all it takes is you getting busy 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. If you're not committed to that, then commit right now. You will start yourself on the journey of mastering the market. And of course, you will start in the hardest time possible, this summertime trading zone where things typically stink. It is very hard to find good trends because a little bit of volume, a lot of the big money leaves the market in the summertime, and you have things sort of up, down, sideways, not any good established long-term trends. In many cases, sell in May and go away, live to trade another day is that old market adage. So keep that in mind if you're struggling throughout the course of the summer. Don't beat yourself up too bad. Just stick with it. You can get this down. Now we see stocks, bonds, gold up, Bitcoin also up. In fact, everything on our charts is green for the day. The big gainer appears to be the NASDAQ 100, but followed closely behind the S&P 500, which is the chart we have, up 1.90% for the day. Had a little bit of a pullback starting there on the 1st, and then, of course, popping up. Not a lot going on in the morning on Thursday, but popping up in the afternoon. And again, as we look at these charts, we have been green on the STC for a while. You might say, Tom, are we looking for up moves right now? Well, we're below the 200 EMA, waiting to clear that. If we're below it, we're looking for shorts. If we're above it, we're looking for longs. And by that, I mean going long, going short in the market. Shorting is when you want the market to go down and you're making money when it goes down in either puts or something like the inverse of the S&P 500. There is actually an inverse fund. It's called SH. And again, those are the things that you are potentially looking for. What do we see happening? Well, we see that the half-day chart is going up. The 2-day chart, and I'll have to tighten up our STC there. You can see where it crossed over in that prior candle. And we can see where we touched the 200 EMA. And that is the 200 EMA on the 2-day chart, which is 400 days. That's what that exponential moving average is. And we're pushing above that. We look at the weekly still negative. So the weekly's negative on the STC, although I will note we are above the 200 EMA there, but the STC is negative. We are pushing through the 200 EMA, trying to on the 2-day. It is positive, and of course the half-day chart is positive, but in negative territory. So a lot of conflicting things there, don't we? Well, that is one reason the decision-making process is difficult, and particularly now being in the summertime trading zone. So hopefully we will see things continue to move up. We'll pierce that 200 EMA, and at least we'll have the half-day and the 2-day charts going for us, and be looking, hopefully, to see that weekly chart turn around, and we'll be able to capture some nice clean up moves. But we're not there yet. So that is where we are on the S&P 500. Where are we on the NASDAQ 100? Well, we had a little bit of a pullback. We were hoping to be able to ride that down some. Didn't work. Things reversed in the morning, headed up. We're still below the 200 EMA the whole time. The STC has remained quite green. And again, somewhat similar to where we are on the S&P. We're below that 200 EMA. That's on the half day. On the 2-day chart, it too is green, turned green about the same time, pushing up a little higher, still below the 200 EMA, not pushing through it at this point. Again, this is the NASDAQ 100, the tech stocks that had a lot of down movement, but the half day and the 2-day are green. We have a green candle. We are above the 200 EMA, but this is the weekly. We're still negative on the STC. And we're waiting for, of course, that to roll over with us. So we'll continue to watch, wait and see how these things shape up as we continue to push through some up movement in the market. I will tell you guys, for our Patreon members, we have 19 weekly vertical crossovers going up for you. Just one going down. I had to throw one in there. But again, if you're not a Patreon member, I would very much encourage you to become one, because we give you 20 weekly vertical crossovers every week. That's what we strive to do, and just about every week we're able to do it. Of course, Patreon members, we sent to you last night and uploaded at the Patreon site. So if you go there and subscribe, support us, you'll immediately get access at any of the 3 levels of Patreon support to our Charting Crypto. We put that out yesterday also. So let's move on from the NASDAQ 100. We will go to 20-year bonds, starting off on the short chart first. Always start off on the smaller chart. Work your way to the bigger chart. What do we see here? Well, we have down movement. We had things start off strong heading down, and they've continued to head down but are losing energy. What are we going to see in the morning? Are we going to see this turn around and start heading up, or is it going to digest those down moves and then plumb down some more? Don't know. We look sort of back in time. We can see something similar here where things moved down, the down movement slowed, and then plunged again. That is possible. Again, you could also have things run out of energy and then pop back up. We'll just wait and see on where things are there. Now, that is the half-day chart heading down. 2-day chart is actually in the green as far as the STC goes. We do see these last 2-day candles heading down. Again, each one of them pushing lower as far as the lows go. So we'll see how that is. The long-term chart, the weekly chart, red down candle there, also still in the red as far as the STC goes. We pulled the trigger on a down trade on TBF, which is the inverse, actually, of TLT, and it's going all right now. We set our loss limit at the average true range when we jumped in at a loss of 1.92, and of course we doubled that 3.99 for our profit in the trade. So we're hoping to see that work out for us. We'll continue to keep an eye on things. So far, going in the right direction. We'll continue to watch and see. That could pull back on us in the morning. If it does, then we'll pull that trade. Remember, the way we set things up using all of the techniques that we've taught, particularly in those last 4 big trainings, I'm going to re-release those tomorrow at the end of the show. I encourage you to watch them over the weekend and study them. They teach you all those methods, how to use the average true range, the success multiplier formula, the always winning method, all those things, making sure that the math is on your side, reducing the size of your trade to deal with volatility issues, and at the same time setting your loss parameters, your profit margins at the beginning, cutting those losses, and again, all you got to do is win 4 out of 10 times. If you follow those rules, you don't even have to hit the mark half the time, and you'll still be in the green. We want you to practice that and prove it to yourself. Okay, that's where we are on bonds. We'll take a quick look at gold, see where we are there. Gold is, of course, up for the day, 1.23%. And when we look at gold, of course, it's in the green, still hasn't pushed through the 200 EMA. We look at the 2-day, it is still red, although it has been tracking, up for 4 days, sideways for 4 days, and then trying to move up again on this latest, but still negative on the STC. The weekly in gold is still negative also, although we have 2 green spinning tops that are forming, but hasn't taken away from all of that downward pressure on the precious metal. Lastly, we will go to Bitcoin And on the half-day chart, what do you see? A really tight range with the average true range. Tried to pop out and then lost that and is sort of sliding sideways again. Up a little bit for the day, 1.06%, but no breakout yet. We're still well below the 200 EMA. We look at the 2-day chart, and of course, when we look at, in order to show you remember we're looking at this, if I go to the weekly chart, sometimes I'll just switch over, as you guys know, to the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. But you can see this chart only goes back to November. Why? Because that's when the SEC approved the 3 Bitcoin future ETFs. So we don't have a 200 EMA on the 2-day chart yet, and we don't have one on the weekly. We do have one on the 195-minute chart, but only because it is a smaller chart and we've had enough days to pass to show us that. But when we look at where things are on the weekly, still in the red. We had things move down. We've got that green spinning top. At least it's not a red down candle at this point. And we're hoping maybe we've reached a bottom in Bitcoin. You notice you haven't heard much about Bitcoin in the news lately because it's really not doing much of anything. We had that 2-day pop-up, and now it's just sort of back to very little movement, still negative. So we'll keep an eye on Bitcoin, see where it is going to go, follow it, be ready to jump in when it decides to take off again. Nothing happening right now. That's where we are, folks. Thanks so much for being with us. Don't forget, end of the day tomorrow, we'll be cranking out for you, as we do every Friday, the weekly review and forecast. And I'll put all 4 of those latest trainings in there for you. Spend a little time over the weekend watching, learning, taking notes from those. I think it's the best work we've ever done. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.